Hello class, my name is Alyssa Bayes. This assignment is for Chicano Studies. It is the Chapter 3, Legacy of Hate, the Conquest of Mexico's Northwest, video discussion, reflection, and the date is November 30th, 2019. People have a difficult time accepting something they've been told or believed in their entire life as wrong or inaccurate. It is an unpopular belief to state that the United States invaded Mexico, amongst other Euro-American population. But just because a piece of our country's history is yet another thing to be ashamed of does not give people such as astute historians or attorney generals, for that matter, the right to omit the truth. President Grant was opposed to the invasion of Texas. It was an instance of one of the most unjust ever waged by a stronger against a weaker nation. It was unfair. In order to begin the movement of Mexico's independence from Spain in 1810, Father Miguel Hidalgo y Costilla sparked a social revolution which consisted of a rebellious group known as Los de Abajo, or the underdogs. As the revolutionary spirit and the words of Hidalgo settled into the people of the land, Los de Abajo grew in numbers to about 80,000. They marched under the banner of the Virgin de Guadalupe. Despite the pride and courage it took for them to stand up, the underdogs were not sufficiently equipped to defend their land or let alone protect themselves. Hidalgo ended up getting captured and executed by the Spanish royal troops, which set back the revolution until other leaders that followed were identified. Filibuster in American terms refers to a delay tactic which the U.S. congressmen use to postpone or block legislation commencement. On the contrary, the word filibuster in Latin or Mexican terms refers to an adventurer who preys on a foreign country with a private military. Filibustering, or freebooting, was emphasized in the 19th century when Americans wanted to follow the lead of Sam Adams, who was a leader of the American Revolution, and stake out foreign territories for the sole purpose of U.S. expansion and unjustly claiming that territory. The Euro-Americans were able to capitalize on huge advantages. These advantages included fighting on home territory and receiving arms from the United States military. The Mexican population that stayed loyal to Mexico in Texas was just around 5,000, but the Euro-American population towered over that and swelled to almost 30,000. In the United States, many opposed the war and saw the Texas Revolution as a disgraceful affair promoted by slaveholders and land speculators. U.S. historians argued that immediate cause of the war had nothing to do with slavery, but with imperial authority at the expense of local privilege economics. In fact, they tend to ignore slavery being a main focus or even go as far as denying that it was a focus at all. Over time, the inaccuracy and half-truths of history create a misleading narrative of what was and what was not reality. In the case of the Texas filibuster, a score of popular books have been written about Mexican cruelty at the Alamo and about the heroics of the doomed men producing the Alamo myth, which justifies the Texas insurrection. Mexican sources differ greatly from American sources, not necessarily in the events that took place, but in the moral of it all and the reasonings for why the Battle of the Alamo happened. Nonetheless, the filibusters were adventurers and they were looking to conquer. Just 2 decades later, the U.S. admission of Texas was on March 1st, 1845. It was a provocation that began the Mexican-American War. The war between Mexico and the United States of America pushed the border of the countries further south, crossing people, rivers, and various other resources. In November of 1845, a band of U.S. troops was sent to Mexico to negotiate over the disputed area of Texas and the Southwest. The presence of the Euro-American troops between Nueces and the Rio Grande and the annexation of Texas made the negotiations that the troops were pursuing a great absurdity. Concentrating primarily on the bringing of the Republic of Texas into the Union, it was declared that the expansion represented the fulfillment of manifest destiny to overspread the continent allotted by Providence for the free development of yearly multiplying millions. Manifest destiny became first and foremost a call and justification for an American form of imperialism, and conveniently condensed the objectives of the Mexican-American War. In reality, manifest destiny is a religious doctrine with roots in Puritan ideas which continue to influence the United States policy to this day. According to the theory of manifest destiny, the United States was an embodiment of the city of God on earth, and the European race were chosen people predestined for salvation. Then on February 2nd, 1848, the Mexican Congress ratified the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo with Mexico accepting the Rio Grande as the Texas border and ceding almost half of its territory, which included the present-day states of California, New Mexico, Nevada, and parts of Colorado, Arizona, Utah, and even Oklahoma, to the United States of America in return for $15 million. During the treaty talks, Mexican negotiators expressed greater reservations about Mexicans living in the lost territory being forced to merge or blend into Euro-American culture. Mexican negotiators protested the exclusion of provisions that protected Mexican citizens' rights, land titles, and religion. They wanted to protect their rights by official treaty. Apart from the impact of the loss of over half of Mexico's territory, Mexicans lost a measure of dignity. Moreover, the wars left a legacy of hate. Therefore, till this day, the lack of enforcement of the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo remains an issue between Euro-Americans and Chicanos. Thank you.